So this video, I'm gonna not be actually showing you how I make the tea because these are actually ingredients I use every day, and I use this as a medication for symptoms that I have pretty much on a daily basis of one kind or another. So I don't want to use up my ingredients right now when I'm not having symptoms and I haven't been at work. So with this, I'm gonna give you a quick run through. These are a couple of different things that are treated with these, but I usually end up using them either all together or sometimes I'll just use them separately if I'm not having one of these problems. But these are teas that I make for when I'm having digestive issues because I do suffer from IBS, and I also have scoliosis, so my back pain gets really bad about midday at work, and I'm very miserable with my back getting pinched. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and start with the ingredients that I use for when I'm having stomach problems. These would also probably be good if, let's say, maybe you're sick and you've got like a flu or a stomach flu or something, and you're having digestion problems or you're having diarrhea or something like that, especially lungwort. We're gonna go over lungwort first. Lungwort is incredibly fast acting if you have diarrhea. It is very good for stopping that very quickly. And typically when I'm using these, I would just use like a pinch of these because most of these don't taste very good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually like the other ones better, we're gonna get to here, but when I'm having stomach problems, I just want to use it as a medicine. I don't particularly care about the taste so much. Now, none of these ingredients are flowers, other than maybe the eyebright, but we'll get to that. So you don't have to worry about burning them so much. I would suggest using boiling water on each of these. So I've got lungwort, which I pair with mugwort, which is also very good for when you're having intestinal problems and you might be having diarrhea or something like that. And then blackberry root. Now, blackberry root tastes terrible. I'm gonna forewarn you. So just use a very tiny pinch of it. Like, I'm not even kidding, like just like that much, like just a tiny bit in your tea strainer. I find that these three together make a very effective pairing for when I'm having IBS symptoms. And sometimes I will also, if I'm having a lot of pain from that as well, I will use some of these other ingredients, which I sometimes make into a tea on their own for my back pain if I'm not having digestive issues, is catnip. One, this is actually mainly just to flavor it and give it a little bit nicer flavor because, as I've mentioned previously, catnip is a very mild mint, which is also good for when you're having stomach problems, and it's also good for anxiety. Now, this tea that I'm going to be talking about, I mainly use for pain, but it is also a mild antidepressive and anti-anxiety tea. Now, the first ingredient I'm going to actually talk about after the catnip here, which is mainly for flavor, and it's also anti-anxiety. I don't know if you can see this. So this is boswellia, and it is a resin. It's also otherwise known as frankincense. So if you happen to be aware of the Christian story of the three wise men bringing gifts to baby Jesus, they brought gold, myrrh, and frankincense. Now, gold obviously is a great gift because it's money, obviously. And myrrh is a very popular, or was a very popular perfume back in days when people didn't bathe regularly. And then frankincense is kind of an odd thing to bring people, except for the fact that frankincense is an incredibly effective painkiller as well as anti-inflammatory agent. They have loads of studies where they've actually used boswellia or frankincense extract on people with brain cancer to decrease the swelling in their brain, and they had some subjects using that in conjunction with chemotherapy, and they found that the people who were using boswellia extract along with the chemotherapy, their brain swelling went down by 70% as opposed to the people who were just doing the traditional chemo. It only went down by about 25%. So that is very good for if you have sore muscles or a sore back, like I frequently have, headaches, anything like that, that might be caused by basically inflamed muscles or anything like that. The next ingredient is goldenrod, which is very good for its pain relieving qualities. I will forewarn you that a lot of people are allergic to goldenrod, not so much to ingesting it, but more to the pollen that it creates. It's very, very common in the South, especially in Oklahoma. It grows all over the place, and a lot of people are allergic to the pollen. I actually don't mind the flavor of it. It's a little bit herby, but it's not bad. Sorry if I'm getting glare on my camera. And then the last one, which is not only known for its pain relieving qualities, but also as a antidepressive, is St. John's wort. And I find that this is really helpful in this tea for my back and for any headaches that I might get from staring at a screen all day. As well as I've noticed since I've been taking it that I've felt just better, like less anxious and happier. And I didn't realize at first that it was actually an antidepressant as well. I just thought I had just gotten it for its pain relieving qualities. And then I was noticing after drinking this tea pretty much on a regular basis that I've been feeling less depressed and kind of like down and lethargic, because I get kind of seasonal affective disorder at this time of year. It's very cold and I start getting kind of meh. So I've noticed that kind of turned around, and then I looked up my ingredients because I figured it started right around the time I had this tea, and I found out that it's probably because of the St. John's wort. And then the last ingredient I have, which I sometimes supplement into either one of these teas when I'm at work, is eye bright. Eye bright is really, really good if you happen to be having eye strain problems. It helps with that, and I would take just a very tiny, tiny pinch and add it to this. Literally all these teas, I would take only a pinch of the ingredients per serving into the tea. And with the Boswellia, I would usually take a chunk of it and just stick it in the tea, and I would rebrew that tea at least 3 to 4 times, because that's going to get the most of the acid out of the Boswellia that helps with the inflammation. And also, this is not particularly cheap, so I don't want to waste it and just be doing one brew per use. Also, Boswellia, you can take it and just suck on a chunk of it until it softens up, and then you can chew it like chewing gum. It becomes exactly like chewing gum. The only thing is, it is definitely an acquired taste, because the first time I tried it, I literally told the person who gave me some of it, that is the worst tasting thing I have ever tasted. Now that I've seen how good it works for my back pain and headaches, I've started using it pretty much daily at work, just chewing on a small bit of it. And I think it's one of those acquired tastes, because now it doesn't bother me at all. It's just a tad bit bitter at first, and then that goes away once it softens up a little bit and turns into gum. Anyway, this has turned into an herbalist lesson as well as a tea recipe. So anyway, to wrap that up, because that was all over the place, sometimes I combine all these ingredients and I use just a very small pinch of each. Sometimes if I'm just having stomach problems, I will use the lungwort, mugwort, and blackberry root. Sometimes I'll mix some catnip in there too, just because it gives it a better flavor. And then if I'm just having back pain, but I'm not really having stomach problems, or I need a little bit of a pick-me-up because I've got anxiety, or I'm feeling a little bit lethargic, I will use the catnip, St. John's wort, goldenrod, and Boswellia. And then sometimes I'll substitute the eye bright in there a little bit if I'm having eye strain and my eyes are blurring because I've been staring at the screen too long during the day. So anyway, that was a very long video over me not showing you how to actually make this tea, but hopefully you got something out of that. That is the last tea video I'm going to do for now. This evening I will be doing my sleeping time tea, and that'll be it for that. All right, I'll talk to you later.